scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Hey guys, happy Monday, happy Remembrance Day to everyone out there, and a big thank you to all the veterans, everyone who is serving as well, and their families. It's Jo, and it's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. We got 6 games on the slate on the ice today, and one of those games is kicking off pretty quick here. So day action kicking off at 12:30 Eastern. Again, we're going to go over every single game on a deck today here on SportsGrid TV, and then we will do a recap at the end of the show. So you guys, let's jump straight into it. The first game kicking off here is the Montreal Canadiens versus the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres definitely have been playing the better hockey as of late. This team has won the last 3 games, and we've seen Montreal struggling out there. Struggling so much, they're shifting up lines. They're moving Caulfield down to that second line. Kirby Dack has been moved up to that first line. And we'll see how that shift does for this team. One thing this team hasn't been doing is they haven't consistently been scoring those goals, and I'm looking for more in this one. Even though I'm a believer in the Buffalo Sabres and their goaltender Lankican, I do think some teams can score on them, and I think Montreal, with how desperate they're going to be in this game to break that losing streak, and with those line shifts, I'm thinking it's going to be a positive for them. This total sitting at 6.5. It's minus 110 either way. When we look at the Buffalo Sabres, it's really hard to look at a team that's 7-1 on the season, laying $2 as a favorite. They're minus 220 here. That puck line, I just don't want to lay the puck line. Minus 1.5 at plus 118. If you like Montreal to keep it tight, which I do think Montreal should be able to put up a battle here with Buffalo, plus 1.5, it's still too juicy at minus 144. Now, Premier's is confirmed in goal for Montreal here. Montreal has allowed the 3rd most shots per game to opposing defensemen. Overall, they're allowing 31.5 shots on goal per game, but those opposing defensemen are making up such a large majority of those shots each and every single night that it's hard not to look at Rasmus Dahlin here for the Buffalo Sabres to come out and get his shots. The problem is, if you want to look at Rasmus Dahlin, the captain here for the Buffalo Sabres, the defenseman, to get those shots on goal tonight, you're going to have to take him up to 4+ before you're getting any value. Now, can he go over that? Absolutely he can. In the last 2 games, though, he's only hit 3 shots on goal. Let me just give you those numbers. He's had 42 shots on the season and 103 attempts. He had 3 shots in the last 2 games versus Calgary and the New York Rangers. So stronger defenses here than we're going to see out of Montreal. We did see him put up 4 shots or more in the 4 games prior. He had 6 on Florida, which was 4 games, the furthest back in that list. 5 on the New York Islanders, and in the last 2 games prior to the last 2 where he only put up 3, if I'm making any sense, you guys. It makes sense in my mind. He put up 4 versus Detroit and 4 versus Ottawa. So he has every ability to hit that 4+, that 4+ coming in at plus 164. Now, can we have him find the back of the net with his ability with those shots that he is getting? I do think he could find the back of the net today. So it is a longer shot here for that anytime goal scorer for the Buffalo Sabres, looking at Rasmus Dahlin, but it's coming in at plus 390. We know Tage Thompson is leading this team in goals. He has 10 points on the season, or 10 goals on the season, 17 points. So 10 goals, 7 assists for Tage Thompson. He's definitely your better chance of getting the goal, but I loved Rasmus Dahlin here for the long shot when we're looking over at the Montreal Canadiens, because I do think with the line shifts, we could see something happen. That top line now is Nick Suzuki, and he will center Kirby Dack out there, and I can never say his name, Slavaski, will be the left wing. So it will be interesting to see that top line without Caulfield. Caulfield bumped down to that second line. Kirby Dack will be on that top power play unit still as well. And I do think he's worth a shot here. Looking at his points or assists. The problem is I can't give you guys the number from FanDuel. FanDuel is not offering the points and assists. You can look at other books. They are offering that out there. And it's the point, I believe it was minus 105. So Kirby Dack for the point is a great way to look with him being on that top line. Nick Suzuki, he probably gives Nick Suzuki the assist. We can look at him here for the anytime goal if you think, because he has been moved up because Cole Caulfield's not getting those shots 5-on-5. He's just not getting open out there. He's not being able to get those shots on goal. Kirby Dack, they believe, gives them a better chance to get those shots on goal. So if you think Kirby Dack is going to get those shots, like coaching is thinking, you got to think he has the ability to get the goal. Now, he's coming in at plus 390, just as the same as Rasmus Dahlin. So both long shots there for the anytime goal. You got to think Cole Caulfield moved down to that second line and is going to be frustrated, and he's really going to show up in tonight's matchup. He does lead this team with 10 goals. Nick Suzuki has 5 assists and 9 assists and 13 points in total. So 9 assists, 4 goals out of Nick Suzuki. So I do think Kirby Dack is worth a play. I do think Cole Caulfield's still worth a play with him moving down. You know the frustration is going to come. So that is the early line, you guys. Rick, you're right. Let's make some pocket money out there today. Kev, happy Monday. Good to see you there, or here, not there. The Sabres on the puck line you're going to roll with today, the Buffalo Sabres. We'll get into that one in a little bit. And Arlie, thank you so much for being here. You're going to take that anytime goal, Rick. Nice look on that one. Okay, that's your early game, you guys. So again, in the early game, this is a hard one, right? It's a really hard one to look at the Sabres on the puck line. I hear what you're saying, taking the Sabres, laying the 1.5. I just really can't get there. I think Montreal ends up finding the back of Langton's net a couple of times. They are playing the better hockey, though, the Buffalo Sabres, and we have seen the home team win the last 7 meetings. So I like them for the win. I don't love them for the puck line. I think Montreal, the Canadiens, have to break this losing streak at some point, but this is going to be hard when they're giving up those shots to players like Dahlin. So it's a player prop 1 for me, you guys. Dahlin for 4+ shots on goal, plus 164. Dahlin for the anytime goal at plus 390. And then I will look at Kirby Dack for the anytime goal at plus 390. I'll look at Cole Caulfield for the anytime goal as well. I think we've got a pissed off Cole Caulfield out there on the ice, not being on that top line. Let's look at the next game. We're rolling with the Sharks, baby. That's all I got to say. We got the Sharks last night in the win versus the New Jersey Devils in a game where Mackenzie Blackwood, talk about standing on your freaking head, you guys. Mackenzie Blackwood stopped, 44 shots on net. High danger shots from the New Jersey Devils. He just did everything he could to get the Sharks that win, and the Sharks won it 1-0. It was a phenomenal game, and we bet on the Sharks. We're going to go right back to it because the Sharks have dominated this matchup versus the Philadelphia Flyers. They're plus 225 on the money line. Everyone's saying this team on a back-to-back. There's no way they can beat the Flyers. There is a way they can beat the Flyers. Now, the Flyers' way of winning this game is they really do have to limit the Sharks' ability to get those goals. That is a huge advantage for the Flyers because the Sharks don't score a lot of goals, and the Flyers, when they get into higher scoring games, they lose. So that's where they have their struggles. But the Sharks plus 1.5 on the puck lines, minus 114. If you guys want to take the safer, I don't think there's safer ways because then you're risking the empty netter. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line at plus 225. We've got leftover money from making money with them yesterday, you guys. Philadelphia's 1-9-1 on the season when they've allowed 3 or more goals. So the Sharks need to find a way to score, which is going to be hard. The Sharks team only put on 1 on the Devils last night. They're averaging 2.31 goals per game. The power play is only clicking at 16.3%, and we've got an elite kill here for the Flyers. The Flyers kill should lock them down. It's just under 90%, third best in the league. The Flyers don't score a heck of a lot of goals themselves, and we do have a kill that's right around 82.3% here for the Sharks. I do lean to this one to stay under that total. Vanacek in net tonight with Blackwood having a fire night last night for the Sharks. Urgent is confirmed here for the Flyers. We look ahead at some of the scheduling, and this is a hard spot for the Flyers. So they're off that loss on Saturday to the Panthers, and that loss to the Panthers was in a shootout. So they lost that 4-3. We also look at them. This is their first game home off a road trip. Now, 2 of those games on the road trip did go all the way to a shootout. That was that last game versus the Panthers, and the game before they were actually able to win versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. But again, it was a shootout game versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they spent 3 games on the road. They're returning home, and 2 of those games were in not just overtime, but all the way to shootouts. I don't like the Flyers in this one. I think the Sharks come out nice and strong. They've won 7 of the last 10 meetings and 16 of the 22 meetings that this club has ever faced each other. I'm looking at Toffoli and Celebrini to make an impact here on the road. The dogs were barking yesterday, you guys. That was a crazy day out there on the ice. For anyone who did not bet yesterday, watch yesterday, and see what happened yesterday. Let me give you those final scores. So the Sharks started off winning 1-0 over the New Jersey Devils. That goal came in the first period, you guys. Then the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Minnesota Wild 2-1. They got a goal in the first, and then they got the goal in OT. The Chicago Blackhawks, I didn't expect that. I expected the Wild to come out on top. And then the Columbus Blue Jackets faced the Anaheim Ducks. Now, Anaheim ended up being the favorite in that one by the time the puck dropped. I can't remember what it was in the morning. Anaheim, in my mind, is a dog. It's the Ducks. If the Ducks are quacking, they're normally a dog in their games. They were able to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets in a bad scheduling spot, 4-2. So it was a great day out there on the ice yesterday. Let's jump back into what we're doing today. For me, it's the Sharks, you guys. The Blackhawks overtime. What a game. I tell you, it was freaking fantastic out there. We're going to move on to the Dallas Stars taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, current lines on this one. Let's go over these. I think this is a great live betting game. To be honest with you guys, I'm going to put a bet in before, but I think this is one where you watch this game. You're looking for the Pittsburgh Penguins to go up because the Pittsburgh Penguins go up in these games and then they give away these games. It seems every time you feel like you've got the Penguins, you got them to get the win, they shoot themselves in the foot, they lose these games. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, I will look at home here, plus 136. They're that on the money line, but I'm not going to look at that. I'll look at the first period money line. It's coming in at plus 124 on the money line for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first period. Could we get them to score the first goal? That actually might be another way to go. Let me look here in the first period, the Pittsburgh Penguins to score first. If we can get that bet, you guys, or both teams to score in the first period, I don't hate either. Even though I think this is a lower scoring game, I think we see those goals come. Pittsburgh's going to be eager to get on the board in that first period. The goal in the first period for the Pittsburgh Penguins is minus 144, so it's juicy. First period, first team to score. The Pittsburgh Penguins are plus 155. That's where I want to go. I think the Penguins get up like we always see them do, and then they give away this game. So that's where I'm looking at live betting this one. When the Penguins go up, coming back in on the Dallas Stars in what I think will be a lower scoring game. This team or this total is 6.5. It's minus 112 to the under. And I love it to that under. The last 11 meetings between these two teams have gone under the total of 6.5. I actually can't believe we're not having to lay like minus 130 to the under. Minus 112. It feels like an absolute steal. But like I said, the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first period on the money line at plus 124. This team is getting scoring from their bottom six. Their veterans like Sid and Malkin, I want to see step up a little bit more in these games. Now we will see Bloomquist confirmed in goal tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tristan Jarry, if you're keeping a note on that, he has been moved back up onto the roster from the AHL. So Tristan Jarry is going to get in the mix soon here for the Pens. Hopefully he's better when he hits the ice for them. Now Jake Ottinger expected here tonight for the Dallas Stars. We know the numbers on Ottinger. The Dallas Stars are going to be pissed. They're off that loss versus the Winnipeg Jets, in which the Winnipeg Jets did what the Winnipeg Jets are doing this season, just dominated that game. They won it 4-1. They have the Bruins on deck at home on Thursday, and then the Wild back out on the road on Saturday. So Not an easy schedule. Looking forward for this team. I do think we see Dallas lock this game down, keep it to a lower scoring game. The problem is, the scary thing is, the Pittsburgh Penguins defensively, they have to really show up in this one. Now they're off that win versus Washington, and if they can perform like they did versus Washington, remember on Friday, we took Washington and Ovi. We took him for the 2+ goals. He came back and answered in the next game, got us those goals. But they were able to hold Washington, a team that scored 8 goals on Saturday. They held Washington to only 2 goals. So this team can lock down defensively. They've been playing better. I love this one to the under. Yes, happy Veterans Day to everyone all over the world, Kev. Yeah, that those lines have moved. That is for sure, from -130 to -115. The under. Sprinkle on the money line on the Penguins. That is brave. It really is brave. With the Dallas Stars off a loss, I'm terrified to jump in front of them. When we look here at the Penguins, so you're right. This Penguins team should home dog. They should be barking in this case. I worry about them in that third period. I really do. And their inability to close out these games strong. It seems like they're always shooting themselves in the foot. Dallas has won won the last 3 meetings and 5 of the last 6 as well. So something to note there. Dallas has had the upper hand. Okay, let's talk my Calgary Flames. My Calgary Flames at home today. I wish I was going to this game. 8:40 Eastern is going to be a gooder between 2 teams in the Pacific. Calgary, though, has back-to-back games. They play tonight versus the Kings, and they take off over to Vancouver to play the Canucks. Who made that scheduling spot? That's brutal. 2 divisional matchup games back-to-back. Calgary needs desperately to win this one tonight versus the LA Kings. An LA Kings team that's rolling in as the favorite. They're coming in at -137, you guys. Total of 5.5. This total is too low for me. Calgary has proven they can get those goals. And while the LA Kings love to lock down defensively, really limit their opponent's ability to get those shots on goal, Calgary has just been surprising this year with the goals that they've had. Now, they've had some slow starts in some of these games. They're coming off that overtime game versus the Buffalo Sabres, in which they weren't able to close out. They lost that one in a shootout, 3-2. That was on Saturday. It's a bad scheduling spot for this team again. We have another team returning home off a road trip, headed right back out. It's not a place I like to back a team, even though I think Calgary needs to get on board. I think this one could come all the way down to OT. Again, you guys, I'm going to take this game to go to overtime. It's coming in at +360. And if push comes to shove, it's the Kings for me, gun to my head, who I'm taking to get this win. Now, I haven't found out if my mom is at the game. This is huge, you guys. Follow my Twitter today. I'll find out if my mom is at the game. Right now, with the mom at the game, she's 1-0 on the season, and I believe 8-2 since we started counting last season. It's either 8-2 or 8-3. I just can't remember. I got to go back and check her games versus those stats. But I will look to see if she's going to go to the game. I know she's headed off to Paris, like right away here. So maybe she'll skip this one and just her fiance will be going. So I'm looking for this game to go over the 5.5. 3 of the last 4 meetings between these teams have gone over, have seen 6 or more goals. So 5.5 is just too light. I know we're having too late juice. I know Calgary's had some slower ones, and I know the LA Kings want to keep this a lower scoring game, but I do think this could be 4-2 win for one of these teams, or 3-3 going into overtime. Either way, we get over that total of 5.5 plus 360 to go to overtime. And gun to my head, it's got to be the Kings. The road team has won the last 8 meetings between these two. 8 meetings on the road. OT, unless mom is in the building. Yeah, I could see that too. Okay, the Wild had 17-game win streak on the Blackhawks before last night. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I thought the Wild would come out and win that first period. I was looking at them to come out strong and get things done, and they weren't able to. So right on for the Chicago Blackhawks. I love seeing these underdogs really step up in these games. And talking about some underdogs, let's look at the next game. The Nashville Predators, the underdog on the road versus Colorado. Now, this is a team that's already beaten Colorado this season, and I do think they can do it again. They're +128 on the money line. We got the Yeah, the Nashville Predators plus 128, the Colorado Avalanche, the favorites at home at minus 154. The problem is I still don't trust goaltending here for Colorado. I'm pretty sure, and don't quote me, Cale Makar is still out of the lineup here. I've got to double check if Cale Makar, last time I saw he was listed day to day. So we'll see if Cale Makar is going to make the lineup for Colorado. The total sitting at 6.5. I think this is a 4-3 win. A 4-3 win that could happen in overtime. Again, another overtime bet. It's coming in at plus 350 between these two. Minus 118 to the over 6.5. And I love it. Nashville won that last meeting earlier this season. It was 5-2. 5 of the last 8 meetings they've won as well. Now, these have been higher scoring games. So that over 6.5 at minus 118, I think holds so much value. 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone over that total. A couple of them are just flying over that total. This should be some pond hockey out there, especially with how the Preds have been. They've got a strong power play. It's converting at 23.1%. Now in the last game, their kill came out so strong against the power play of Colorado. Colorado, we know this is a team you don't want to give the one-man advantage. They are converting 34.6% of their chances on that power play. Nashville has to play a clean game. They can't give the Avs the opportunity. Otherwise, we could see the Avs just completely go off in this game. The kill here for the Avs isn't strong. That's where I'm looking for the Nashville Predators to be able to capitalize in this one. Let's hope Colorado plays a dirty game. Preds convert, and Preds don't find themselves in the box because this is going to be a hard one. They've got a hard road trip, you guys. This isn't pretty. They're off the win versus Utah. They won that on Saturday. They locked down the Utah Hockey Club. They got the shutout win 4-0. Saros expected tonight. Looking at this road trip, this is game 1 here in Colorado. They have to start off with a bang. They have the Oilers on Thursday, the Flames on Friday. So back-to-back battle of the 2 Alberta teams, and then the Canucks on Sunday. That is a hard trip to do. So you got 2 games on Thursday, or 1 game Thursday, 1 game Friday, and then on Sunday you've got the Canucks. So you got 3 games in 4 nights, and then you face the Kraken on Wednesday. The Preds need to get this one here. They've got this game circled. They know they have to get it done. Now, if you're looking for who's going to get the goals, I love Philip Forsberg to come out so strong tonight here versus Colorado. He has 8 goals and 13 points. Look at him for the anytime goal. I would look at Yossi here for those assists. He has 5 assists on the season. 9 assists on the season. He has been strong. And then if you want to look at the other side, Nathan MacKinnon, if he gets on that power play, Nathan MacKinnon is going to go off the power play point for him. Rantanen for the power play point as well. Those top power play players here for Colorado, even though the kill is so strong here for the Preds. If the Preds play a dirty game, get in the box, you can't give Colorado those opportunities. I love the Preds on the money line. They got to get it done. That is for sure. Okay, last game, you guys. We're flying through these games today. Again, I'll do a recap after this game of all of my bets. So anyone just tuning in, don't go anywhere after I finish up this one because I'll let you know all of those bets with that one puck dropping really quick here. So let's fly through this one. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We have a total of 6.5, and we have 2 teams off a loss. 2 teams that can really lock down defensively. I got to look at the under in this one. Under 6.5 at minus 114. Both of these teams are going to be pissed that they lost their last games. And I do think there's so much value here on Vegas at home at plus 122. That line just moved to plus 118 right as we said it. I can't believe Vegas at home has been strong, but I understand. The Carolina Hurricanes off a loss. I'm not going to lay minus 144 off this team in the Fortress, though. Off that loss. So they're off the loss to the Colorado Avalanche where they allowed way too many goals. You guys, the Avs won that. I believe it was a 6-4 final there. They've got Utah on deck on Wednesday. They're sitting second in the Metro. This is a strong team. That ability to lock down on the defensive side is elite. They're only allowing 24.9 shots on goal. This is the identity of this team, is that strong lockdown defense. And we saw it last season. We're seeing it again. We look here at Vegas. Vegas has no problem battling in a low-scoring, grind-them-out style game. They're allowing 3.07 goals per game and 28.3 shots on goal. That kills only 76%. They got to bring their A game here versus the Carolina Hurricanes, and I do think they do. And I think it starts right out of the gate for both of these teams off the loss. I'm going to take the first period under 1.5 goals at plus 104. And then I'm going to look at the full game to stay under 6.5 at minus 120. 3 of the last 4 between these two teams have stayed under that total. Could we have another overtime? We could have another overtime between these two, you guys. I have not bet that. The more I think about it, the more I think the overtime bet has to be at play between these two teams tonight. The overtime bet coming in at plus 340. So give me overtime. Give me a complete battle between these teams out there on the ice because I think it's low scoring. I can't look at goal scorers, but you guys know you got it. The Sebastian Aho, his ability to get on the board is so strong. His anytime goal at plus 160, his point's going to be ridiculous. You can't even bet it straight up. Thomas Hertl would be a nice look for Vegas. You're getting him for the point at plus 280. He always shows up in these low-scoring defensive battles and finds the back of the net lighting that lamp. So that's who I would go with. I think this one is a hard one to prop bet, you guys, because I do think it's going to be lower. I love this one under the 1.5, Kev. I am with you. The under 1.5 with that plus money in case we have that late goal in the third period, and then it pushes us to overtime, but kills that total. DePaul, thanks for watching all the way from Mississippi. You guys let me know where you are watching from. This first game is going to kick off right away here at 12:40 Eastern. So let's do the recap, you guys. For all of you just joining us here for the recap, you're going to get everything I'm liking. I might miss a couple of player props, but you'll get the majority of what I'm liking without the full-blown explanations all night long. So let's look into this. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Again, this is a hard spot for me to lay the puck line on the Buffalo Sabres. I expect them to get the win here. They're just playing the better hockey. The problem is you got to lay the puck line. They're too big of favorites on the money line. This is a prop bet for me. I'm going to look at Dahlin for the anytime goal. It's a long shot at plus 390. At Dahlin for 4+ shots on goal. He plays for the Buffalo Sabres. It's because Montreal allows those shots by the defensive players, and I think he's due for that goal. But on the Montreal side, it's Kirby Dach here for the goal at plus 390. It's a long shot. Again, he's being moved up to that top line, and he's booted Cole Caulfield down to the second line. So I'll take Cole Caulfield to be pissed in this one and find the back of the net as well. The San Jose Sharks, look for them to come out and beat the Flyers. Again, we got to take that plus money with the Sharks. The Sharks coming in at plus 225 right now on the money line. Sign me up all day long. They have played so strong versus the Flyers that there's no way I can say no, especially with the Flyers in a bad scheduling spot. The Dallas Stars versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Remember, live betting situation here, you guys. I'll take the Penguins in the first period on the money line. You don't even have to take puck line. They're the home dog at plus 124. I'm going to look for this game to go under the total of 6.5. And if the Penguins go up in that first period, as I'm expecting, and plus that first goal in the first period by the Pittsburgh Penguins, plus 144, I believe it was at. If we see the Penguins go up, as I expect, I will be coming back in on the Dallas Stars on the money line at that point when I can bet them for good value because the Penguins shoot themselves in the foot. The LA Kings versus the Calgary Flames. Give me OT between these two. OT coming in at plus 360. Give me the game over 5.5 at minus 128. I do think we have a higher scoring one here. One that Calgary's desperate to win. I just don't know if they can pull it off. The Nashville Predators versus the Colorado Avalanche. This total, I think we will fly over. I think this is a 4-3 style win here for the Nashville Predators. Could this one go to overtime? Absolutely. Over 6.5 is my favorite bet of this game at minus 118. And I'd look at Philip Forsberg and Yossi to come out, get those points on the board. Forsberg for the anytime goal. If you're looking at power play points for Colorado, even though the Preds held them down in that last game, that they were able to get the win, I do think Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen are where you want to look. Carolina versus Vegas, you guys. Oh, it's so hard not to take Vegas in the Fortress. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. OT style game between these two as well. Give me the under 6.5. is both teams locked down on the defense, and the best bet, the under 1.5 in the first period at plus 104. I know it's so hard with both of these teams having so much power in their forwards, but I do think both teams off a lockdown on the defensive side. That is the recap, you guys. Let's make some fucking money. Rick, thank you so much for joining me here today and every day. Jo, I appreciate you as well. And Arlie, thank you guys so much. Everyone that is here. Rick, you're going to Proline Combo, those overtime. I love it. I love it. It's a great way to go. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you again. We are live here for Puck It with Jo at noon Eastern every single day. If there has to be a scheduling change for any reason, I will always let you guys know over on X. So you guys, you're the best. You rock. Hit that like, hit that retweet button. I would so greatly appreciate it. It keeps this show going each and every single day. So thank you guys so very much. Let's make some freaking money tonight.